Newfound Overland podcast, where we have relevant conversations about vehicle-dependent travel, adventure bikes to rocklanders, weekend warriors to full-time travelers, and everything in between. Newfound Overland. Overlanding undefined. Welcome back to another episode of Newfound Overland Podcast. I'm your host, Benji, and this is Overland Shenanigans. Guys, welcome back to the show, and thank you for those who reached out and said that they were glad that I was back. I don't know if you guys genuinely meant that, but I'll take it as a yes. Yes, you genuinely like the show, regardless of, if it's on point or not. I appreciate you guys tuning in, reaching out, and just saying thanks for coming back, not just leaving us stranded. Either way, guys, thank you for that. We got a couple things going on as far as recap for my weekend, and then I'll kind of get after some Friendsgiving things, and that's going to be it, guys. I don't think I'm doing anything as far as events-wise until the next year. I think more is in April, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's happening. But guys, thanks for tuning back into the show. If this is your first time here, just know that this is not a regular scheduled programming podcast. This is all independently funded and based off the moods I'm in. So if I'm in a good mood like I am today, I only drank a pot and a half of coffee, we're in a good mood, and it's almost 6 o'clock p.m. here in the Central Standard U.S. time. But guys, real quick, we've got Friendsgiving coming up. That's November 21st, 22nd. I'll get into that in a minute. But I just got back from Whiskey and Waypoints. Bradley Lowry and his team with the Overland 870 podcast, they put on one heck of an event down there at J3 at the Gap. That place is phenomenal. You could see they spent a lot of time, money, energy making that place, and they're not done. They're continuously adding on to it, making it bigger and better. It's super cool. So if you don't know what I'm talking about and you want to have your mind blown, just Google search J3 at the Gap in Jasper, Arkansas, and it's going to pop up with some gorgeous pictures. Follow them on Instagram, all the things. But yeah, Bradley and his team, they did a fantastic job. We had a busy week here last week at the shop, Midwest Adventure Outfitters, if anyone's wondering the affiliation there. I own that. I launched it almost a year ago this month. The 23rd of November, this time last year, was our grand opening. And what a year it has been. Just to look back and reflect, I feel like almost a panic attack just because of all the things we've been through just here in the last year. But regardless, we were busy at the shop. We've got a couple builds going on that are extensive, and then plus we take in small work throughout the week just to kind of bring in some more money. So that's the gist of the game. But we had a good time being able to go down to Whiskey and Waypoints. Patrick, who is our lead tech here at Midwest Adventure Outfitters, he went down Friday morning at around 9. So I think he got down there around 12:30 or 1. Set up everything, blah, blah, blah. And I was sticking back, I redid my burr fields, put those all back together, re-greased everything, and did that Thursday evening. Drove the Land Cruiser home, made sure everything was good, up to snuff. And then the next day I drove down to St. Robert, which is a good, 30-minute round-trip drive. So I thought it'd be a pretty good test drive to see if everything was put back proper in the front, which it was. And I did an oil change, which, unbeknownst to me, Land Cruisers, they require quite a bit of oil, 7.8 liters to be exact. So I went ahead and polished off 2 gallons in the girl and put me on a Wix filter. And we drove to Arkansas and back. We didn't end up leaving Crocker until about 2 o'clock. And we got down there around 6:30. Got everything set up. Hung out around the fire with the Feral Chick Outdoors group, and then there was a charity gambling kind of thing going on there. So we went, I guess they called it the Hen House. Pretty cool. They've got little names for all their little buildings out there, but we went to the Hen House, trailer. They picked us up in some side-by-sides. We went over there. We ended up winning. It was for the food bank or something rather. This was all a fundraiser for veterans and their families. So this one was raising money for a food bank. And my wife and I, we had 2 separate hands. Long story. I had 3 or 4 hands. But either way, we ended up winning for them. But sadly, after we hung out that night, we went to bed, woke up to a phone call around 5:30 or 6 in the morning letting us know that our dog Layla had passed away in her sleep. And if you've ever lost a dog or a loved one, like a fur animal like that don't sass you, they don't talk back to you, they're just loyal listeners and good dogs. She was one. She was a dog of ours for 13 years. I think she was a boxer greyhound mix, so she was a beautiful runner and just a great dog. She was a flight risk, though. I always joked about that, letting her outside. If you weren't leashing her or if she wasn't in the gate, she would run, and she would always run up to the gas station to try to get food from people up there. And then, of course, anything stinky and smelly, she always liked to go roll around in it. Some dogs are like that. Some dogs aren't. She was totally like that. But, yeah, that was a bummer because we packed up camp and drove all the way home and then had to deal with that emotionally. And then, the whole process just sucks. But a year ago, October, I lost my other dog of 12 years. So we lost two pretty big family members in our family over the last couple of years. And just the last year. It just sucks. But life's funny like that. It kind of trains you and teaches you things, especially, the older you get, etc. If you're not learning anything from life's happenings, you need to pay more attention because it braces you for all things, and your outlook on things shift as well if you're alert just to life's happenings. So not going to be all doom and gloom today. I didn't mean to really get off sidetrack with that, but I'm kind of painting the picture for you. But we dealt with all that stuff. So we turned and burned. We came home, all the things, which I think it kind of worked out for a good reason. And hear me out, because Sunday morning, we were getting ready to go back to Springfield because that's on our way to Arkansas, and our son stays with my parents and they're in that area. So we were going to we left him down there. We had a conversation with him later about what happened, but blah, blah, blah. My wife and I were going to head back to Springfield. Going to have lunch with my parents, and my aunt and uncle were there. But I got a phone call from Michael and Sabrina saying that their axle on their off-road adventure trailer, which is kind of like mine, but I don't know, a little bit more custom, if you will. But their axles, they were like a Timron knockoff. Both of those axles snapped, and they were over camping about 10, 15 miles from Crocker. So he called me that day. He said, "Hey, man, what are you doing? Are you home? Blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Yeah." Told me the situation. So I hitched up the 18-foot dovetail to the Land Cruiser and drove all the way over there, and we got it loaded. Thankfully, there was a farmer out there feeding his cows, and they waved him down, and they asked if he had a tractor, and he did. So he had a spike loader in the front and in the rear, and he was able to lift up their trailer. And then I was able to back my trailer up underneath theirs. Anyway, it's sitting down, broken down in the back of my yard because I didn't want to leave it up here at the shop. I didn't want anybody walking off with a fancy rooftop tent or anything else that they had left behind in their trailer. So hopefully they get that worked out with manufacturer, whoever it was. I don't know the brand of it. It's something from Amazon, so it sucks for them. It just sucks for people that, for companies that sell things on Amazon, and they'll probably refund them. They might give them, new axles, which I don't know why you'd want axles that are going to break again. But, yeah, that kind of sucked for them. And they were super bummed out, which I think back in April, May, June, somewhere in there, we had must have been June. I think it was June. We had a camp out down there. And they're with off-duty overlanders, by the way. Michael and Sabrina Wan, great people. Go follow them on Instagram and Facebook, Off-Duty Overlanders. They do a lot for the first responders, fire, EMS, all the things that are first responder related. If you've ever seen Code 3, that's pretty much their life. So, yeah, much respect to our first responders out there, which I had no idea until hanging out with these folks. It's pretty cool to see and hear about the reality of certain jobs versus the, all happy-go-lucky way they package things, neither here nor there. I'm talking too much, and I apologize in today's episode because I'm probably rambling all over the place, which I understand that's probably why some of you guys like it. But either way, so we helped them out, got back to my house. They took some stuff with them. And this Brady's like, I'm hungry. And it was like close to 11. I was like, well, let's just go have lunch. And they're like, well, where at? So there's this cool little place down in Waynesville. If you guys are coming to Friendsgiving, I encourage you to go check out this place. It's called Hoppers. And it's kind of like a small little, hole in the wall pub. It's really nice. The cool thing about it is if you're a local, they've been around for like 12, 13 years now. But if you're a local, there's 66 beers on tap. And if you drink all 66 beers, not in one night, but good luck if you try, then you get a little plaque of your name and they put it on the wall. Why are there 66 beers? It's because they're on Route 66. So it's pretty cool. And our shop's only like 10, 15 minutes away from them. But if you're ever in the Waynesville area or just going through 44, take the business route, go through Route 66 and stop there. They've got wings, burgers, tenders, all the things. It's fun. They even got frog legs if you like that stuff. But anyway, we had lunch there and we had some good conversation just about kind of what they're going through, because they're a non-for-profit and, just talking, not talking shop, but just talking as friends and all the things. And that just got me into appreciating the community. And they were appreciative that, I was home and I was over there able to help them through, this pretty big deal when your axles snap. Like they could have been anywhere. They could have been on I-44. If that would have happened, I bet you somebody would have died or a huge crash could have happened because both wheels at the hub just fell off, like just blew off. And if that would have happened on an interstate, who knows what could have happened, not only to them, but to anybody out there in traffic or what have you. And, for them to call me or to have called anyone and to have had the response as quickly as it had, that's pretty rad. And this happened to them back in, like I was saying, back in June after they had it was their first air quote, maybe soft launch ODO camp out, which they had some first responders and all that come to. They were on their way home. I believe this was the event. If it's not, I apologize, guys. But on their way home, the axle snapped. And this was back, I think, when they had a solid axle. This one now with the Timber knockoffs, but whatever. Their axle snapped or something rather like that to where they had trailer problems with it. But Tony Kress with Bats Off Road, he was closer at that point in time. No, this was on their way to save. Okay. Sorry, guys. A lot happens throughout the year, so throw me some slack. So they were on their way to the Save Expo, which was, I believe, in May. Maybe it is April. Heck, I don't know. It's one of the spring shows down in Florida. But anyway, they're from Oklahoma or Kansas, Parsons, Kansas to be exact, and they were driving south, and then they were going to go southeast. Well, they drove through Bentonville, which is near, Fayetteville and all that fun stuff where the Cresses live, and their trailer more or less broke then. So it's kind of cool, kind of sucks how it's cool, but like their trailer broke both separate times, both places pretty far from home, but both places relatively close to friends. So that's why I say all that, just to say the Overland community is really cool in that respect. So if you guys recall Budget Overland Facebook group, I changed the name to United by Overland. That was kind of my whole thing, was like trying to unite people with overlanding, but blah, blah, blah. With politics, people don't like to be united. I don't think people in the overland space really care about some things other people in the overland space care about, which kind of leads me into today's just topic discussion. We do have a voicemail, by the way. We'll get after that after all these things that it'll all happen. But I just wrote down some notes just based off of kind of what I just spieled to you. But people have, and people will always be indifferent. And that doesn't matter if it's politics, religions, differences, or even definitions of fun, could be different to all people. There's not one universal, hey, we're happy, and this is why, or hey, we're United States of America, and this is why. This is what I mean. It's like, and not getting all political, I'm just saying to a different perspective, I guess, as to how to see how others see or view things is almost impossible. because you could have, it's not black or white. It's not left or right. It's not anything like that. It's a conglomerate of all these things based off of how they were raised, where they were raised, what schools they went to, what programs they had, what life decisions and choices and outcomes had they have throughout their life. And, you know, my whole thing is with Newfound Overland, it's my approach to the word overlanding that's undefined. I don't want somebody to tell me, "Oh, that's not overlanding," or you have this vehicle, well, that's not an overland vehicle. Or you don't have this many modifications done. You don't go camping for months on end, and you don't go international traveling. That's not overlanding. Like, overlanding undefined, bro. Like, I don't give two craps what you call it. This is what I do, and it's not car camping. Car camping is very different. Car camping is when you camp in your car. If you're on a rooftop tent, if you've got, you know, all the accessories for camping and cooking and the lighting and the even if you've got like onboard power or air and all this extra stuff, those are like overland gadgets. So you're overlanding. Now, some of you, I already know off the top of your head, you're gonna disagree with. I'm not even defining. I'm just giving you options. But like by per that of a definition. You know, I mean, I know there's going to be some pushback on that just because, again, we are and will always be indifferent of whatever XYZ topic. Doesn't matter. And it took me a while, and hopefully this for you guys will cross over not only just in overlanding, but maybe in relationships, probably with politics, maybe with your work, maybe with people on how they react differently to certain things. But anyway, that got my gears turning in my head. And it's like, well, we always talk about this thing called Overland Community. Like, it's the greatest overland community. Like the overland community is the greatest. And you could hear that on other people's like YouTube channels, podcasts, whatever. But what does that mean? They could say, yes, this is the greatest overland community. Okay, cool. Let's define what overlanding is to you, first of all. And then secondly, let's define what community is. And then let's see, like, what is worthy of giving praise to that title? Like, what makes it the greatest community? Is it because they bought tickets to your event? Is that why they're the greatest? Or is it because when you're stuck in a mud hole, 8 people drove past you and they didn't help you? Like, there's a fine line between this is a great community and not. Not to get hung up on that little tangent, but what I'm saying is, if my overall perspective and my definition of overland community, something like this, it's something to where I'm going to probably name drop some people, but who knows? Maybe not. But heck, why not? For the sake of it. So whenever I go to events, or especially being within the podcast, you know, I know people from all over the country, some outside the country, etc. But if I am ever at an event, I try not to just stay in one spot. I'm a social, chatty Cathy, if you will. I like to go around because most of these places, and a good example of this is Rendezvous, More Expo, the bigger events, Overland of America, the bigger ones where you're going to run into more of your friends and circles, etc. So if I'm going to Rendezvous in the Ozarks, that was the last one, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's between 6, 7, and 8 different circles that I would associate myself with. Now, I'm not trying to just toot my own horn. I've been in this space for a minute, in the space of a personality, someone who has had a channel or a platform such as podcasting. But what I do when I go to these events is I just kind of walk around to each of these, little circles. And it could be my friends from Oklahoma. It could be, feral chicks from that area. It could be Caleb Baker and his friends, me and Baker are friends, but like our friends are kind of the same. But then as he's moved, his YouTube channel's gotten quite large. I think he's in the 25,000 range, which now that broadens his reach of friends. So, his friends were there, but Baker was sick during that. But that's a bad example. But either way, they were there. But anyway, I just like to walk around, say hi to like people I know, kind of get caught up, kind of small talk, whatever. And then occasionally you'll hear cool stories about what had happened on a trip, how they got rescued or saved, or, something happened at work to where, they needed some part, but some guy in Texas had it, and they, through the friendships, through the link, through the community, that's what my whole take of the greatest community is. I don't know what other people's take is, but like sometimes I don't see that. Sometimes I see selfishness. Sometimes I see barriers and walls. I try not to be that guy. If I come across as that guy, I surely hope not, but I try to be open to anyone and everyone who wants to hang out, converse, have a conversation, go do a trail ride. Like I'll go and do things pretty much with anybody, as long as you're not, tearing up stuff or cutting cookies out in the middle of the national forest or doing whatever. The people that make the community, and that's a huge air quote, are those who are selflessness, selflessness. Thank you. The people that make this community great are those that aren't after anything. That's the greatness of this community. Now, sometimes I might come across as, hopefully not like look at me or anything like that, but I am doing a Friendsgiving, trying to push that. That event's costing me a lot of money, but I don't want to take that out on those who are attending. I want to make this a cheap event, but I want it to have an expensive experience, if that makes sense. So wine taste, beer money. So I want to charge you beer money for a wine experience, if that makes sense. But then there's other people in there in the space that are, I don't know, indifferent of having fun, or indifferent of growing their circle, or indifferent of having something, someone, whatever, hang out with them. This is getting all over the place, and I do apologize. My train of thought's still there. It's just a little scattered still, I'll be honest with you. But this community is great because of the selflessness. That's all I'm going to say. This community also gets a bad rep from those who need the attention or get into this space because they see a different market than those that have been in the space know it as. I think a lot of people try to get into it. Either they've been influenced to be influencers. That's actually ironic, but it's true. There's a lot of people that try to get in with the quick bucks, the free kickbacks and all the things. They try to get this stuff without earning it. There's nothing wrong with making partnership deals with companies. There's nothing wrong with getting discounted prices or discounted, products. There's nothing wrong with that. There is something wrong with it if you're sending emails left and right. Hey, look at me, blah, blah, I won't do this. I'll post this for you. I'll do this for you. It's like, bro, do your time. And if that stuff comes your way, it'll come your way. If it doesn't come your way, knock it off, because you're making everybody else look bad. You're making the community look bad by you just wanting free stuff. Save up your money and buy it like everybody else did. Or perhaps you try to bring them an audience that they'll find value in. You can't post a video and get 200 watches and expect a free rooftop tent from somebody. You can if you do that and get 20,000, 10,000 views, 2,000 views for the next 2 years straight. Sure, sign me up. We love that stuff. I just think there's definitely different opinions, and I don't want to say definitions because this is overlanding undefined, but there are different opinions on the word overlanding, not only defined as to what it is, but I'm saying in the sense of what it is to most of us stateside, especially because most of us are weekend warriors. We're not going international. We have no border crossing issues. Like, we're pretty spoiled here stateside as far as our overland travels, outside of, people burning things and putting up purple paint left and right. But besides the point, overlanding for me, I got bit by the bug back in 2000, I think 17, maybe a little earlier, watching YouTube, all the things. And I'm like, that looks fun. Specifically, and I've said this before, Matt McClellan's channel, Ozark Overland Adventures, back when he would go out with his friends and document him and his friends and their travels, weekend trips. Sometimes they do a week-long trip. It was always in the Ozarks for the most part. Occasionally they'd go out, but that was kind of later on in his channel. But at the beginning, there's a lot of Ozarks trips. And I'm like, man, that just looks rad. It wasn't the tents, the wheels, the tires, the rigs, like that never really got me fired up. It was the people and just having a real raw friendship like that was shared, amongst that crew is rad. And it's still rad for me today. And I'm sorry if none of this makes sense. I'm kind of just openly speaking about just my experiences in it. And, throughout my whole life and everything, you're kind of conditioned for certain things. One being, careers, like in school. Hey, go to school, go college. Then after college, you go get this job. You want these high paying jobs, go college. But fast forward to reality and today, it's like, that was kind of a bunch of fluff. You don't really need that. No, I'm not saying doctors doesn't require, long, extensive schooling, but for the most part, like not everybody's going to be a doctor. There's a bunch of jobs out there, unfortunately, that you need degrees for that you really don't need them. Air quote, you probably do them without, but I get it. It's legalities, all the things, I get it. But finding one's direction in life, and this is now going back into like my little story. I've never felt fulfilled in any of the jobs I've ever done. I've always kind of been self-employed for at least the last 12, 13 years. And I mean, nothing like super great, like successful, hire like all these people and blah, 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 let them do it for you. But I've always wanted some sort of a self-fulfilling, self-respected job. With especially today, man, people are so stupid in their reality of everything. But back in the day, it's like, with used cars, you could make somebody so happy. You had this cool car, you sold it. And then you could sell another car to somebody else and the alternator goes out and now it's a lemon car, and they're so mad. I didn't like those people because they were unrealistic. And, I'd change out these parts or, a tire or something. Well, it's something stupid. You tried to rip me off, but no, let's handle this a different way. And I feel like a lot of people could take angles and approaches totally different if they had common sense and, just didn't have such a hot temper. I think if people were slow to react and stuff like that, the world would be a better place. And the same thing with kind of like overlanding. People just jump in there all over the place, blah, 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 stirring up the pot. It's like, bro, just calm down. Like, calm down. We all want to go travel. We all want to do these fun things. We don't want to work for the man. We all want to have fun. And I don't know. Take your time, y'all. Like, whatever you want from this, don't let anybody else define it for you. So that's all I had to say. I said all that just to say, don't let anybody ruin your hobby. I've got friends and you guys probably might even relate. Who knows? But you got people who get into this thing. And I talked to this, I don't know who it was over the weekend, but it's like, here's the season of the average overlander. They see you having fun with a group of people they want to be associated with, or not even those specific people. It could just be their own. They just want somebody out there they don't know exists yet. They want that relationship with another human, that camaraderie, those trips, those experiences. It looks fun. And, then you see all the gizmos and gadgets on the rigs, and they're like, well, I probably won't fit in with anybody unless I have these things, or if I have a YouTube channel, or if I have a podcast, or if I don't have any street credit. So they go try to do all those things, just jump right into it, spend a bunch of money, blah, blah, blah. Well, they're not being satisfied. They're not even doing it now for the right reasons. They're chasing a hustle that doesn't exist. I mean, it kind of exists for some, but for the most people they want to get out and camp. They don't want to get out and think. They want to get out and unwind. They want to get out and be off grid. They want to be out and away from their emails, their cell phones, their texting. They want to be sitting in a chair in the middle of nowhere. But then you got the fun wheeling aspect, the breaking stuff, and a lot of people can't keep up with that either. It's the thing, guys, and it's very elementary. It's rudimentary. It's elementary. It's all the things. And I think if you keep chasing false things, you're gonna have real results. If you chase the fake things, or if you're chasing things that will only self-benefit you, then you are going to be miserable. And I've shifted a lot in my own personal growth and development over the last couple of years as to finding out why I am unhappy. I can't blame people in my life for them just doing their life. It's made me to take a closer look at my routines, my behaviors, what it was that caused me to be miserable. What were those things? The first one was kind of being my job. It was unfulfilling. I hated it. So built it up, sold it. Here we are today. Now I'm literally giving it all I have to make Midwest Adventure Outfitters work. And it's working. We are treating every customer as if we were treating, ourselves, or our friends, close friends. We're treating everyone the same. That's one of our biggest, guidelines here at the shop. Treat others how you want to be treated. It's rudimentary or elementary. It's rudimentary too. But either way, treat others how you want to be treated. There's a lot of shops out there that fluff, they talk up stuff. We're just realistic. Like, man, we're sorry that this did not happen today, or that this project's taking so long because we've never done a project like this, but we will make it up to you. We're doing it right. We are not cutting corners, that's just for these longer stuff. But people are more appreciative with a conversation. People are more appreciative of an open, communication dialogue back and forth. Like, hey, what kind of lights do you want? Blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, here's 3 options. Do you like these or those? Communication's key. And assuming things, as you guys already know, we'll just leave that as that. And that's the truest thing. But, I'm rambling. But let's get after today's voicemail, and we'll hang it up from there, guys. But have a conversation with yourself. Like, what is it that you want from this Overland stuff? So let's get after today's voicemail, and then I'll probably hang it up here, but we'll see. Trying to minimize this. There we go. All right, first one. Here we go.
Benji, what's up, man? It's Stephen with the Silver Runner. Just getting back, or on my way back from a trip to New Mexico. Hit the Lincoln National Forest, Gila National Forest, White Sands National Park, Roswell, man, just making a trip of it. But anyway, reason I'm calling is a recent trip that I took to Colorado back in August. It's kind of been bothering me. I was on my way up Ophir Pass, and an adventure bike had fallen in front of me. And, we're like on the shelf of Ophir. And I'm like, all right. So I stop, get out, help this guy pick his bike up. And he's an older gentleman. I'd say, let's say he's early 60s, early to mid 60s. So I help him get his bike picked up. He gets on his way. I get back in the runner, and I'm heading up. When we make that last left-hand turn as you go up to the summit, and the guy at the phone again. So, of course, I stop, get out, help him get his bike up, and he's like, hey, man, he's like, I'm new. Let me just, help me get it over to the side, and I'll wait for my buddies to come down and help me. And I'm thinking to myself, this guy has buddies, and he's on his first trip, and they just left him. So we get up to the top, and, everybody's up there taking pictures and hanging out. And I see the two adventure bike guys, and I'm like, hey, your buddy's down there. He's fallen twice, and he's scared to ride his bike up. He can't get his bike back up. So finally, another guy had stopped behind us who was, like some Baja dirt bike rider. So he jumps on the bike, rides it up, while the gentleman rides in his rig the rest of the way. But this guy was new. It was his first trip. He's like, I've never done this. Just got the bike. It's my first trip. And it's like, hey, don't leave your buddies behind. If it's someone's first trip, make sure they make it to the top. Make sure they know what they're doing. Put them in the middle if there's three of you. But let's try to make it fun for people and not just stress them out and abandon them on oh fear, right? So just some thoughts. Didn't know if you had an opinion or some guidance for people that are taking newer people out, but I just couldn't believe it, Be your brother's keeper. Help your friends and family out, and don't leave them.
All right, guys, he did get cut off there, but this is only a 3-minute. These are only 3-minute voicemails. Just a reminder if you guys call on the voicemail, but here he is again.
Man, so that 3 minutes went fast. I'll wrap it up on this one, though. Just if you're taking new people out with you on some trails or camping or overlanding or off-roading, don't leave them stranded. Don't leave them falling up mountains. Stuck in holes, whatever the case is. Help them out. Make sure they're having fun. Make sure they're enjoying it. Don't ruin it for them. This is it's a great hobby, and it's good to get people involved. But let's make sure we're doing it the right way. That's really all I got. Glad to hear that your newest episode. I'm glad you're back on the air. Keep it up, man, and have a good one. Bye.
Stefan, thank you, sir, for calling in. And I'll give you my 2 cents on that. I think a lot of people already know, but you're responsible for those in your group, especially if you're like, 4 wheels, not 2 wheels, but I think still with 2 wheels, it's kind of hard to turn backwards all the time to see. But I feel like this scenario, they were probably at a Rigs and Coffee. They were probably chit-chatting. The guy's like, oh, yeah, I've got a bike. I ride. They do all this. Oh, we're doing overpass. Let's go hang out and do it. Well, the guy probably gave off false pretenses, first of all. So that just kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier is like, I don't know. I don't know the right answer because everyone's so different and indifferent on what they define as whatever, like if you were to say, hey, let's go on a group ride, you just pieced out and left me, I would never go wheeling with you again. I would never ride that bike again with those people. And how embarrassing for them at the top, for you to tell them, hey, your buddy you invited back there or your friend that you brought with you, you guys are a bunch of whats. Go help your friend. And the same thing goes with 4 wheels. Always look in your rearview mirror. If someone's slow or someone's stopped, get on that radio, say, you guys good? You don't have to call them out, make them feel stupid or little. I think that's the biggest difference, man. And you get it. Like, you get the community I'm in. The other people are not in the community I'm in. That's exactly what we're saying. So find the community that's right for you. Clearly, it's not as vast and as broad as we would like to give it credit. There's a lot of adventure bikes that are, in my circle that I would consider to be good, helping, not self-centered people. And I don't know these people to really give them this much flack, but it does. I could see this, if I was there. I'm an elder millennial, and I lean a lot with not minding my own business. If I see something, I say something. And if there's an issue on certain areas, I try to speak up and call people out on their BS. So good for you, bro. And it sounded like you had an amazing time and all the things, dude. So appreciate you calling in. If you guys want to call on the voicemail, you absolutely can. It's toll free. It is 417-319-1969. I don't know if you could text that number, but if you want to, go ahead and text that. I might start reading them out. Let's try that this week. If you guys have any questions, concerns, anything. But yeah, let's talk about Friendsgiving real quick. And I hope today's podcast at least comes out decent. I don't want you guys to think I'm a bunch of crazy radicals, but if you do, that's that's your opinion on the matter. I don't really give a crap. So Friendsgiving 2021, the cheapest overland event in the world. It's $45. I'm just going to go through the itinerary and then, yeah, just leave it at that. So Friday, November 21st, check-in, 1 p.m. That is at the campsite. And the campsite is a huge primitive / wooded field. And I've got people down low in the green section. I've got a little map. So if you guys are driving or whatever, go over to Midwest Adventure Outfitters either on Facebook or on Instagram, and then look through the pictures so you can kind of know what I'm talking about. But the night owl section, if you're wanting to stay up late, not being crazy, it's not like a huge party scene. It's just people that are probably going to be a little noisier. We're not going to have big speakers blaring, nothing like that. It's just people with their voices that carry conversations that are probably going to realistically go on until midnight, maybe 1 or 2 a.m. That's the orange section. If you want to go to bed at 9, I think lights out are at 9, super quiet. That'll happen in the green section. We've also got like firewood and all the things, porta potties, trash facilities, stuff like that. So don't feel like we're like super roughing it out there. But check-in's going to be at 1. And then that evening, I believe it's going to be from 5 to 7, we're going to do a potluck. So pretty much just bring your best dish that you're proud to serve others, and you are proud enough to say, I made that. But if you're like me and you can't cook worth a darn, you guys can go buy something at Walmart and then say you bought this at Walmart. And there's going to be no shade because you brought food, and that's awesome. So that's going to be happening from, I believe, 5 to 7. And then after that, for people, I understand people are going to be rolling in after work. They might not make it to the potluck, which the potluck's not the main thing. So don't get all discouraged if you miss it. But after the potluck, from 7 to 8, we're going to have a huge social, just hang out, bring your own brewskis, your own cold snacks, whatever you call them these days. Hang out with us, converse. We're going to talk to just other people, just meet other people that are perhaps in your area or maybe not. And that's going to go on from 7 until 8. And then 8 till 10, we're going to watch Code 3 with my favorite first responders. And that's Michael and Sabrina Wan with Off-Duty Overlanders. So that's going to be a fun movie to watch on the projector if you want to. If you want to stay at your own little camp and do your thing, I get it. That's totally cool. There's no shade. You don't have to check in. We're not going to stamp your little travel book. Nothing like that. Just show up. Have fun. But then Saturday, wake up Saturday. And we're going to meet at a coffee shop called The Brew, which is a very nice coffee shop. And we're going to have rigs and coffee there from 9 to 11. Now, you don't have to do any of this stuff. You guys can do your own thing, but this is kind of the itinerary I've painted a picture for. And then from 11 until 5, you guys are absolutely fair game to go explore, do whatever you want. Following the rigs and coffee, if you guys choose to, if you're going to be out all day exploring, that's fine. But if you want to participate in some classes, we're going to be hosting some workshops. So we've got navigation, camp cooking, gear talk, and basic aid. So that's first aid and medical. So navigation is going to be taught by Deliberately Lost Outdoors. Camp cooking is going to be taught by Tyson. And then gear talk is going to be taught by Charlie Rausanowski with Outskirts Overland. And then basic aid, first aid, medical is going to be taught by Sabrina and Michael Wan of Off-Duty Overlanders. So this is going to be a 30-minute work class each. So you could participate, I'm pretty sure, in all 4. I've got to structure that a little bit better, but we'll see. Right now it's doable to do all 4. So that's going to be happening then. And then at 5 p.m. till midnight, Small Town Saturday Night. And this is where this event's pretty cool because we have a party bus that's going to chauffeur people from the camp all the way to this venue. And we have bands playing inside and out. Good cover bands. They're kind of country, and then ones like 80s, 90s rock mix. So it's really good music, good musicians playing inside and out. Outside, there's outdoor games like giant beer pong, cornhole. There's also going to be a cigar lounge. So if you guys want to chill, there's going to be a 20 by 30 booth out there. Go buy you a cigar, hang out in there. Oh, by the way, there's a full bar. So if you guys want cocktails, mixed drinks of any sort, and then get beer on tap or beer in a bottle or can, they've got that, and then take that outside and enjoy a cigar. And good company, good conversations, and then ride the party bus back and forth as many times as you want throughout the evening. I think we're going to be running that from 4:30 till about midnight 30. Just truly depends on what we signed up for with the party bus. So hopefully no one gets stranded. I don't think they will, and that's kind of a joke, so blah, blah, blah. And then the next day, you guys sleep in and roll out before noon. But that's Friendsgiving in a nutshell. Hopefully you guys can make it. It's going to be an absolute blast, and we're going to continuously do these each year because I know this year is going to be fun. And each year, as we build it, it's going to be more and more fun. And the different thing, too, about this is there's no vendors. It's all about community. It's all about people, and that's what I want. I'm tired of going to these events that they just want to take your money. I'm not saying all of them because I do go to a few of them, but there's some bigger ones that they just care about, making that dollar bill. And you got to make money, but I feel like with the right community, and then for us or people with a voice that can help educate people what overlanding truly is and what the community actually is, goes a long way. Goes a lot further than that. So this is my way, Midwest Adventure Outfitters, to just kind of bring us all together, all the like-minded people, that is. There's going to be people out there that don't want to come to this event because it doesn't have all the bells and whistles and super flashiness. That's super cool. I'm at the point in my life where I think being more authentic and genuine with others, that means a lot. So, guys, have a killer day. Try to be nice to somebody. Don't do anything stupid. If you screw up, try to make up. But hopefully this podcast today wasn't too all over the place. Hopefully it made sense. I swear, guys, I'm not crazy. I'm not loony. I just want to have more real conversations with you from here on out. But hopefully next week we'll be talking more overland stuff. I'll talk to you guys some about some builds we got going on here at the shop, and it's pretty fun. But yeah, guys, have a killer day, and I'll see you back here next week. Bye-bye.